Welcome to How Women Write, the podcast for author entrepreneurs to find inspiration and flow. Get easy to implement 20-minute or less writing and business lessons, plus interviews with relatable and inspiring women to help you create a sustainable writing habit that grows your business and leaves a lasting impact. I'm Jacqueline Fish, former communications consultant, 3-time author, and intuitive writing coach. Let's go. What do you do when you're in some kind of a in-between liminal space? You're shedding old self-limiting beliefs, building new ones, and an old version of you is falling away. A new one is emerging, and you're trying to write as you grow. So let me back up a little bit. A liminal space is the psychological, emotional, or spiritual threshold. Your old identity, belief system, or structure has been shed, and the new one hasn't fully been formed yet. You're no longer who you were, and you're not yet who you're becoming. And that in between space can feel quite unsettling. It's like you don't know what to do. Like, what do I do with my hands? Here's some clues you might be in a liminal space. You know which old narratives are no longer serving you. However, the new ones aren't totally clear yet. You have a feeling that clarity is coming, but you don't necessarily see it. You also feel that growth is happening beneath the surface. So this is internal results. You feel yourself changing on the inside, even though on the outside or to others, it might not be apparent yet. And it might even result in you feeling unmotivated, distracted, or extra sensitive. So the word liminal comes from limen, meaning threshold, an entrance, a beginning, a not yet. Think of a doorway, and the doorway is the not yet. And you might have one foot on each side of the door, on either side of the threshold. You might even be standing on the threshold, completely in between. And as we talk about this and how you use this for your writing practice, a reminder that there's nothing wrong to be in this space. Thresholds, entrances, doorways, beginnings, they're not negatives at all. It's simply a space. Now, I also get the urge and the push to want to rush through it, like, okay, I'm done with this, let's go. I'm ready for what's next. And that can be our impatience. And we know that impatience is not the best place to create from. So, what are you supposed to do? In this in between. I see it as the pause between an exhale and the inhale. So, at the end of your exhale, the bottom of your breath, you know the next breath, the in breath, is inevitable. It's going to happen. You can also think about it like the soil in the winter. Under a blanket of snow, on the surface, it looks still, like nothing's happening. But underneath, life is preparing to return. The soil is doing things. We just don't see it, and it needs that rest. It can't do spring without it. Or even like a snake shedding its skin. And earlier this week, we wrapped up the final days of the year of the snake in the Chinese New Year. And we welcomed the year of the fire horse. And thinking about the snake for a minute, it has an old layer of skin. First it loosens, then it splits, then it falls away. And for a moment, that snake is exposed. It's tender, it's fresh. It doesn't have that full new skin yet. And the shedding is definitely not a sign of loss or failure. It's a sign of growth. The snake grew and it needs different skin. And on the other side, we know that movement is certain. We know that once that snake gets going again, it is going to start moving again. So in writing, this is where we're in the middle of adopting new language, shedding old ways of speaking we don't use anymore, beliefs, identities, they're all being built. Stories are forming. You're identifying old stories you want to tell, and you aren't yet sure how to articulate them yet. So you're a high achiever. I know you are because you're listening. What are you supposed to do? Stop writing completely, pencils down, do nothing? Not necessarily. Now, you might pause on your writing for a minute. You might pause on publishing writing. However, I do recommend writing through this liminal space, through the fog. If you're in this margin of space right now, the goal is not to force clarity. We can't force it. It's to stay present, keep listening, and let what wants to emerge happen. And to do that, we need to be present. We need to keep writing, letting the draft out, letting the words out. It can become clear, tidy, presentable, coherent later, but they need to come out so they can breathe. Otherwise, it's like they're all jammed up, blocked up in our brain, bouncing around, taking up space. So a client recently shared something that I know many writers can relate to. Here's what she said. It's been an emotionally draining week for me. Lots of stuff coming up, but not always with any clear source. Not a lot of new ideas or inspiration coming in. Many of my clients, perhaps even most of them, I might go as far to say, they're writing challenging topics. They are sharing their true stories, their experiences for blogs, memoirs, books. Whatever the format, though, the emotions beneath it are the same, and they can't be ignored. Simply being present, though, is often enough. Staying with your stories, staying with them long enough to see what's coming through and see what needs healing. This is the work. And when you're writing beyond surface level stuff, which is, I'm sure, you, there's a lot that can get in the way, though, if you let it. And writing in your journal is one thing. Writing blogs and books when you're in a transition is another. What are you supposed to do? Stop sharing? A book can feel appealing because it's private for a good stretch of time. It gives you time to breathe before publishing, refine, let it out, make sure it feels complete and whole. A blog, on the other hand, is public right away, unless, for instance, your posts are behind a paywall like a Substack subscription. That in that case, a blog or even on social media, it's asking for visibility sooner. Now, that doesn't mean processing in public, or I'm thinking like these people who are like hashtag vulnerability crying on camera. I don't recommend this for so many reasons. I'm not going to get into all those today. But say you are in this liminal space and you want to write. These two things can be true. First of all, it is brave. And this insight that this client shared brought up a few things that I've gathered over the years about writing through the shifts. And I want to share some of the things with you that stood out. So it's all about reflecting and continuing your practice. And she also mentioned that she wasn't sure what was hers. So if you are feeling drained, overwhelmed, or anything negative at all, ask yourself, is this mine? Especially if you're an empath, you might be picking up on emotions, pressure from other people, and very common of highly sensitive people. Pausing to ask that can simply bring so much awareness. And when you realize that something might not be yours, it's so much easier to let it go. And as we know, this is why I recommend continuing writing, because clarity in writing comes through the action, not through overthinking. We know this. We can't think our way to a body of work, a blog, a book, or any of that. There's no necessarily, I need to wait. I need to wait for this. There is no waiting. So yes, this space is uncomfortable. And once you begin, the fog starts to lift. It's like once you begin, imagine it as the sun coming up on a foggy day. The sun burns off the fog. It's necessary for that to happen. But if you don't start writing, it's like the sun not coming up. It doesn't clear, or it clears very slowly. This is your action, writing a draft, sketching an outline, letting imperfect words fall on the page. And doing that is what creates both the vision. The vision starts to get clearer as you write, and as you write, the confidence builds. So The idea of waiting for confidence, not a thing. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Confidence only comes through the writing. And I've yet to actually meet anyone who regrets processing through journal pages or starting a draft, even if they don't share it. It almost always feels like relief. And you know that once you're on the other side of this threshold, you are in the flow, sharing your stories, believing in yourself. And you can write as if you are on the other side now. Right before you begin writing, imagine that imaginary threshold. You are stepping over it. And once you step through, you start writing. And we're not doing this to bypass or be Pollyanna and everything is rainbows and magic and unicorns, ignoring what you went through or the emotions or the effect or any of that. It's writing from that place now. You can, and you will, edit whatever you write later. Remember, if you only remember one thing from this podcast, I say it so many times, writing and editing are two different things. Let the writing out however it wants to live. You will refine later. And know that on the other side of anything you write, you're a different person. You're changed. How can you write as that person now? You don't have to wait for any length of time. 5 minutes, 5 weeks, 5 hours, 5 months. There's no minimum amount of time to serve in a liminal space. There's no rules. You can step into your after immediately. You just need to feel safe to be able to do that. So here are 5 ways to support that process. 1, rewrite old beliefs by hand. And then consider that a chapter. Destroy it, tear it up, burn it, whatever feels good. Then write your new one. And continue rewriting and editing as new beliefs surface. You are the editor, the writer, the director, the creator of your life. 2, use a cancel or reject process to interrupt limiting thoughts and consciously replace them. This is like a thought dropping in and you're like, nope, reject, delete, cancel, not going there, or imagining a big X above the thought. 3, when emotions come up, ask yourself if they're yours to process or are these someone else's. 4, practice consistent visualization, whether it's guided or self-led. You might do this first thing in the morning and last thing before you fall asleep. This is the best time to do it. Your brain is most receptive and throughout the day. 5, curate your inputs. Remove toxic relationships. Limit social media. Read only things that are expansive and uplift your mind and soul. We can't be listening to draining things or trying to recharge our battery while at the same time on the other end draining it. Going back to whether you want to write blogs or books in this liminal space, whatever you decide, trust it's the right move. The key, though, is to decide, because not deciding creates an energy leak. Trust your decision and move forward. One essay, one chapter at a time. If you want to blog, but think writing a book will be easier, remember that books can take years. I know a woman who wrote her book over 25 years while in therapy, and everyone's timeline is different. I've also know someone who wrote her book in, I think, 8 to 10 days. It's not something to force. Both the 25-year writer and the 8-day writer did not force the writing. That was their natural timeline. Also know that if you blog, your blog can later become a book. I've also seen people hide behind, I'm working on my book. They're writing, thinking about writing, but never finishing it. I share this to caution you that if you notice that you are working on it, but not actually working on it actively, this is where blogs can be useful because it's a shorter piece to get out and to keep going. They really help you create momentum and connection with your readers with every article. To decide which format is best for you while you're in this liminal space, ask yourself why you want to write. Healing, supporting others, or is it both? And blogs and books can support both. If it's about supporting others, a blog could accomplish that faster. You can grow your audience while you write, so there's no need to wait until your manuscript is finished. Also remember, writing in a liminal space is still work, whatever you choose. Writing, not thinking, is what reduces the fog. That is action. That's progress. even if your writing is private for a while, still progress. When it comes to writing and publishing, safety has to come first, and we need a safe container in which to write. You would not pour a fresh batch of green juice into a leaky cup, and you wouldn't move into a house while the foundation is still being poured. No, you want a stable, strong foundation, a strong, sturdy cup. Build that first. So you can create some support by outlining chapters, then beginning with a topic that's calling to you most, asking your higher self or God, what do I need to write today? You can look at your writing as an experiment. And as we know, because clarity starts once you begin, it needs to find you writing. Create something small, something easy. Go slow. Aim for just 15 minutes a day. And then put your pen down. Write by hand with a grounding beverage nearby. Writing by hand, a lot of people share that it grounds them and it gives them that extra element of safety. On days where the writing, the materials, the stories you're going through feel especially charged or challenging, which could be the whole project, make sure you add some padding around your writing sessions, like a few minutes of meditation or prayer, a walk around the block, some music, some tea, a long bath, and decide ahead of time before your writing session how you will nourish yourself to reduce decision fatigue later. Like, oh, I know I need to look after myself. What should I do first? It's too much. So making sure you have the space after your writing to integrate and feel, and before you're writing too, so you can ease in naturally. Whatever emotions come up, allow them, move through them, write them down, process them. Especially while writing parts of my last book, Intuitive Writing, I found it really helpful to journal for just a few minutes before I started writing each day. This was a warm-up. It also allowed me to acknowledge what was present. And it wasn't to avoid emotion, but so that I could feel it clearly. And when I could feel it clearly, I could write clearly. So the big question, can you write in the liminal space? Yes. Can you publish? Yes, with a caveat that's up to you. So as you refine your work, you might ask yourself, is this something I've healed or am I still healing it? Be honest. You can share from a scar and you might want to hold back or could take extra time to process if you are sharing from an open wound. At the very least, be clear if that's the space you're in. As you write through this liminal space, we know that the clarity will come. Integration happens from sitting with the work, being fully present, and the threshold you're standing on, know that it's not a pause in your growth. It's the door. So you can step through that door at any time and start writing. There is no speed in which to write. You decide to step through and start writing that way. If you're in a liminal space and ready to write from the version of you on the other side, the living draft container is for you. I work with writers in this space in varying lengths depending on what your schedule looks like and what your capacity is. We can do a fast several weeks, or we can stretch it out longer over several months. You'll find that link in the show notes at theintuitivewritingschool.com. I hope you truly enjoyed this episode of How Women Write and that you are taking this advice and using it in all the things you are writing for your books and business. I would be over the moon if you can leave a rating, review, or share this episode with someone who you think needs it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.